clear as mud.
There's been to be for a long time.
But yes.
Well, Newell K, I've heard both things at Newell.
Well, Newell should get up and under them and trace the airlines.
So, with what you said right then, though,
How many six-packs do we have on Coach?
Most coaches have 2. There are some error coaches that have 3. Because what we did not talk about is the pressure in the tag bags. On the coaches with 2 six-packs, that pressure is a direct descendant of the pressure in the drive axle bags. Michael's coach and some others built during that time frame, and I don't know if this was an owner request or phase of the moon in Miami, Oklahoma. I don't know why they did it, but they have a separate 6-pack, and on that 6-pack is an air regulator, so that you can change the amount of pressure in the tag airbags. You can pump them up harder, which makes them bite the road harder. It also transmits more rate to the front tires. Or you can decrease the pressure in those bags, and they don't grip the road as high, and you don't have as much weight on your front tires. Yes, Michael?
Do you have that switch on your dash about your tag? Is that what you're talking about?
Nope.
No.
Nope. There is a separate 6-pack,
Okay.
and feeding that 6-pack, it has pressure, standard pressure regulator on it.
So this is during his leveling mode only is what you're talking about?
No, when he's in travel mode.
It's in travel mode.
But because it has a separate pressure going to it in travel mode, it has to have a separate 6-pack, or you could not isolate it to level the coach. The tags would be fighting everything else you're trying to do. All right, you had to ask a question.
Seemed like appropriate time.
Okay. The answer to that question remained an immense mystery for years and years and years and years, and no one at Newell, and I went there and I asked, and others asked, no one at Newell could explain how it worked. But the fellow that spent hours underneath his coach chasing airlines and going, what is that? Where does that go? The fellow that figured it out is sitting right there in the vegetarian shirt. So let me draw what he figured out. It's dang clever. It really is. But is it mystifying? As the lawyers say on these TV lawyering shows, let's just stipulate that there's air pressure going to the drive airbags. All right. Rear airbag, drive axle. And while we're in the stipulating mode, let's just further stipulate that there's an airline that comes from that that's going to inflate the tag bag. It is. It just goes through some kind of interesting plumbing. So in that airline, in its journey to inflate the airbag and the airbag to the same pressure, there are 2 three-way valves. And the way a three-way valve works is in its normally closed position, that's a C, not a G, the air or the fluid will move straight through. if it is energized, that pathway is interrupted, and whatever comes in from over here is now going to over there, and it's blocked off from here. This three-way valve, if you energize it, will close to here, which means now the pressure to the airbag is isolated from here, because it's closed. And there's a hole in that valve that goes to the atmosphere. So as soon as you press the button to decrease the weight on the tag, it energizes this three-way valve. It isolates it from where it's trying to get pressure, and it starts letting air out of it. So you're decreasing the air pressure there. This line is connected yet again to the infamous air supply, so that when you press the button to add air to the tag axle, it isolates right there, and it starts pumping air in. If it didn't isolate right here, it'd try to inflate this bag too. So that's why what it takes is two three-way valves in tandem, and the up switch activates one of them, the down switch activates the other, and there's one of these on each side. If you crawl under the coach, and this was probably the most fun discussion that Steve and I had. If you crawl under the coach, we had quite a lively time, because he would say, but both of the tags are connected to the same tank. And I would say they can't be, Steve. Well, hell they are. Let me show you a picture. And we went back and forth for about that. I mean, but they can't be, because if they were, it equalized side to side going down the road, and that's not how blah, blah, blah. And the breakthrough moment is in that tank, where it appears that both the right and the left airbags are getting their supply. There is a divider welded right in the middle of it, and Steve finally cleaned off enough paint and grease to see the weld line. And that was the breakthrough moment. So the schematic that you find out there on the forums, you look hard enough about how the air system works, all as a result of that hours that he spent under there. Did that answer your question about tag pressures?
Why would you need to change it?
There's a couple of different reasons. One of the reasons is at the time the coaches were made on the Ohio Turnpike, they actually had weigh stations at the toll stations, and they were forced to go through a weigh station, and their axle weight was somewhat lower than what the axle weights on the Newells were.
About 2,000 pounds.
So you could hit that switch and put more weight on the tag and take weight off the drive and roll through that station and be okay. The reason it's there for the other reason is if you find yourself, you're spinning the drive tires on snow or ice or something other slippery, you can take the weight off the tag and put more weight on the drive tires to get you out of a slippery situation.
And you would never put too much weight on the drive?
And you guys ask leading questions. There is a close to a design problem with most modern Newells. The answer to your question is, if you take the weight off and you leave that switch depressed, 120 pounds in the drive airbags is not enough to float the coach long term, and it will sit down on the tires with you going down the highway. I can go show you some proof of when that happened, if you'd like to see it.
On mine, one way I flip the switch, it actually has an audible alarm that just beep, 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 so you wouldn't like drive down the road, but the other way it doesn't. And how do we know, because it seemed like it was opposite, if you pushed it up, that was like, I don't know if that was the inflating the air, the tag, or deflating, or increase, which increases which?
Someone in this room may know accurately. I know what I did. Once I got it figured out, I put it on a Dymo sticky piece of tape, you know, in writing, and I have it taped permanently to the console above my head, because I can't ever remember which one does which.
Right. So would it make
It's in the
sense
owner's
one to have an
manual.
audible and one not?
Put a little piece of duct tape on top of it, don't mess with it.
I don't mess with it, but some people were, or the original thing people were saying was you could flip that switch and it would turn sharper, but then other people say it doesn't turn any sharper when you.
Newell does not advise you to use that switch for turning.
Okay,
It's not what it was designed for.
okay.
It would make sense if the one.
Drivers made that up.
Or
And
they're
it came
competing
from
for
people
Prevo,
who
which
had
can actually
visible
lift.
tags.
Yeah,
That's a different deal.
yeah, Prevo
Ours
can
don't-
list the
ours
tag
don't
right
let.
off the ground. Okay.
It would make sense, the one without the audible is where you're going down the highway in Ohio. You know, where
Yeah.
you're just transferring more weight to the tag,
Okay.
because that way because you'd be driving
Yeah.
with it. That would make sense to me, but I don't know. You got to kind of, that's what I'd say.
I suspect that's the case. Mine's the one with 3 6-packs, and so I don't have a way to increase the pressure, but I get an alarm when I flip the switch and drop the pressure
Do you
in.
have an owner's manual, Mike?
Yeah,
My owner's manual tells me which is which.
Does it? Okay, I'll have to dig that out.
If any of you'd like to take a break right quick, just a cup of coffee or tea, I'm just gonna take me a second to draw this, so it'll be a good time to get up, walk around and get some blood sucked up.